Mr. Johnny or Miss Sally or whomever, they're going to recognize that, and there's two things that are going to happen from that. They're probably not going to like going out to the fence and back with a chair over their head. That's number one. So their behavior probably will change. And number two, it runs off energy. So there was two ends to meet that need. I was always throughout my career, even in my later years, where honestly, I don't believe in a lot of political correctness, quite honestly,
right.
Because I find it to be a ticket for many children to do poor behavior because they know I can't call them a dumbass,
right?
Because it's not politically correct. And they well may be a dumbass, and they well may need to be called a dumbass.
Right.
It's like the bit with, I don't know, you ever in choir?
No.
But you were in one of my classes.
I was in the music class.
Yeah, the general music.
Right.
Right. And perhaps you saw me, some kid acting up, and I might have picked them up by the rear of their pants.
I didn't see that.
And said, "You better have that door open before we reach it." And their little hands going like this. And I would stack them up against the door, not real hard, but enough to let them know that this was not a proper behavior, to put them outside. And I said, "You're going to stand outside for 1 minute, and then you're going to come back in. I don't want you out there more than 1 minute because I don't want you to miss what's going on in here."
I do remember you mentioning a few people got batons broken over their heads.
Oh, yeah. Well, I used a very fragile baton for a purpose. Okay. If I'd used a fiberglass one, it wouldn't have broken. So I'd get the cheapest, crappiest baton that possibly could be made out of there. And if I went bap like that and it broke, it was much more impressive than if I went bap like that and it hurt. It was designed to make a point.
Right.
I don't want to injure a child, but I do want to get their attention.
Right.
And so many things, again, back to, we hear constantly, and just as an aside, we hear constantly today, don't bully, bullies are terrible, don't do this, don't do that. Why are you bullying Johnny Jones or Sally or whomever?
Right.
And it's wrong. You shouldn't bully.
Right.
Bullying is absolutely wrong. And you know the kids, and you could probably name them today, walk down the aisles and the hallways and pop and bam, nailed. Those are the bullies.
Yeah.
Now, if you let those people continue to get away with it, it becomes two pop-pops and then two, and a little bit, it'll escalate until some poor little kid down there gets really up to here with it and takes them on and gets himself hurt.
Yeah.
So my thought was, I would tell the bullies, I would walk up to them and say, "I don't want to ever see you do that again. Ever. God help you if I ever see you on a dark street." But I would say it very, very smilingly and very gently, but very firmly. And I said, because what you're doing, you know is wrong. And somebody's going to walk down the street that's bigger than you, stronger than you, and you're going to end up on your back going, how did this happen?
Yeah, there's always somebody bigger and meaner.
And that's right. And you've got to understand that these little pipsqueaks, like my son, who was in the 8th grade, yeah, he was 6 feet tall, but he weighed a buck and a quarter. You know, he was a skinny little kid.
Right.
Now he's 6 feet 8 or 7, whatever, and about 145 pounds, 245, 250 pounds. And he works in Montana, and he's a physical guy. And he could pick you up by your face. He's a tough kid. I mean, he's wrangled cows up there, and he takes sides of elk and butchers them. He'll pick up a side of elk.
Oh, elks are huge.
They're massive, and he'll hook it on the hook and butcher it down. My point is that it comes back to this bit of what goes around comes around. My favorite thing, I think I probably maybe said that in your class 10 times. I really love that phrase because it's absolutely 100% true. And if you see it in three, I always just tell myself, if I can see this thing in 3 separate areas said in 3 different ways, then there's probably a real big element of truth to it. So colloquially, it's what goes around comes around. Biblically, it's as you sow, so shall you reap. Scientifically, third area, is for a reaction, there's an opposite equal reaction. So there must be a real big element of truth to this. So I don't want to, as myself personally, put something out there that's going to come back bad at me.
Right.
Because I'm smart. But if you're dumber than that floor, somebody needs to talk to you. And if you don't listen, I've already talked to you then, and it's on you. And I'm not going to have much sympathy when it happens. And have I seen it happen? Oh, yeah.
All right.
I saw one of my big 6'2" 8th graders that was 15 years old, an 8th grader, just beat the living daylights out of some poor kid. And he was suspended for 5 days. But by law, we had to take him back. The day came, and he's walking down the hall, and this pipsqueak kid, who's about 5'1" and weighs probably 105 pounds, is walking down the hallway, and this big guy's walking down the hallway. And yeah, this is wrong. I agree, it's wrong. But the kid had a aluminum bat behind his back, the little one.
I sympathize.
And he walked up to that kid walking down the hall. He didn't even see it. And he caught him right across the knee and shattered his kneecap.
Wow.
And when he went down, if it hadn't been for some of his friends stopping him, he'd have beat the living daylights out of that guy with the bat.
Yeah.
What goes around, comes around. Yeah, that other kid, the little kid, he was suspended for 5 days. And he said, I knew I was going to be.
Yeah, well.
He said, but it was so worth it.
Yeah.
Did your daddy tell you to do that? No. He says, I laid in bed for a month thinking, should I do this? And I finally decided it was worth it. Because how is he going to learn not to do those things? He says, quite I didn't mean to shatter his kneecap, but he didn't shatter his kneecap.
He meant to make his point, yeah.
But he was trying to hit him in the shin, but he missed.
Oh.
And that would have even been more painful, I would have thought. But anyway.
Shattering a kneecap's pretty bad.
Yeah, but it is bad. But again, my point being,
right.
You don't know when it's going to walk back on you, And I tell everybody that. Most of the stories that I like to tell have a point. Don't do negative things. Don't do wrong things. Nobody does anything wrong with the idea they're going to get caught. Nobody does. They just don't do it.
Right.
What you put out in your life, you may be able to receive back tenfold. This is where I'm so.
If you'd like to get back in touch with Mr. King, you can find him on Facebook. Just search for T. Robert King.